this week we made a road trip, and we made a trip to a place that you wouldn't think a saltwater show would go. We ended up coming to North Georgia. As fate would have it, any time you bring cameras on a trip, on a shoot, bad weather shows up, and this was no different. In fact, the rain actually started early. From the time we left the ranch house there in Crystal River to the time we got to Georgia, it did nothing but rain.
Just gonna put this in there and leave it out of the way.
I met Rob actually a few years back. He fished with a client of mine that brought him along on a trip, on a flats fishing trip. But how I really got to know Rob was we were at a Z-Man summit where they bring both the saltwater team in and the freshwater team in, and we kind of have a workshop, a gathering of ideas, which turns into a lot of eating, a lot of drinking, and a lot of afternoon fishing trips. But we work a lot of stuff out for some new bait ideas, and Rob was just one of those guys that I was kind of drawn to because he's a guide like myself. Well, I will say this looks like a topwater day. You know, we got
Perfect.
This is more than overcast. I feel like we're actually gonna be running through clouds. When you look out here, you can see the mist. It just feels like it's almost foggy-ish.
This is really like perfect. I mean, a lot of times the best topwater action that we see all year is like in between these storms like this. And it's really, you know, some guys say they like the sun. I feel like more often than not, I really like when it's cloudy.
And the water's a lot warmer than I thought it would be.
Yeah,
It's 80.
It's gotten hot. You know, we had a few hot weeks, but you know, the last 4 or 5 days we got a lot of rain, some cool nights. So it's cooled the surface off a little bit. Hopefully we got some bait fish up high. And usually that's all it takes to have some killer topwater action.
You know where you're going. I'm marking fish here, by the way, just so you know. On the Raymarine. The Raymarine's saying there's fish right underneath.
You're going to see a lot of fish today. Let's make a little ride though.
All right, let's go. Where do you want to go, or you drive?
You need to drive?
You can drive, yeah.
We're just going to go right up this way.
How much trouble can we get in? It's a 115. It's not in a bass boat.
You never seen me driving.
I better turn my hat on backwards. All right, spotted bass. This is a bass species that I'm not familiar with. I had never really even caught spotted bass, to my knowledge, over my lifetime. But coming here to Lanier and the way Rob drove it home, like, listen, this is like catching snook. These guys blitz on the top, they attack topwaters, they hit fast-moving flukes. It really got my attention where I wanted to do this. Now those clouds there don't look as friendly to me. Are they going away from us? They kind of look like they're going away.
Oh, there he goes, right here.
You got it? Yeah, a big one. Man!
How
Rob,
awesome is that, dude?
got to watch that one eat. Got to watch that one eat right here.
If I can land him.
I got a net if we need it.
This is like the worst landing ever, but.
Might be one of those quick in the boat deals.
He's pretty green. Look at that one.
Oh, I'm gonna get a pick for the gram.
That's a little bit more like what we're after there. Look at that. Post-spawn fish. Nice big spot, over 3 pounds. Hey, remember what I was telling you about the hookups earlier? A lot of those big ones are gonna be right there on that.
Right there at the end.
On the tail hook.
When you're here on Lanier and you're looking for zones to fish, you don't understand how important it is to fine-tune your electronics game, because this entire game here is based off knowing where the trees, where the brush piles are, and where it concentrates baits and the predators. And you're drawing fish literally out of 20 feet of water up to the top to strike a top water. So you're gonna have to hit a lot of spots to have a lot of success with topwater, because everything's gotta go right. Those topwaters would pull them up, and once that got up there and one took a swing or boiled on a plug, you would just work it more frantically to get them excited so they would compete for the plug. And many times, just like Rob noted on the boat, if both plugs are working, you've got a good shot of having doubles constantly. He's on it, he's on it. There he is.
Attaboy.
There he is.
Oh, double.
Come on,
up.
it's gonna be a double.
Let's not try to get tangled. Awesome, man. Oh, that's awesome. I don't think I'm not in you, am I?
No, you're not.
You got a spot or strike?
I got a spot. A good spot, too.
I think I got a spot. Oh, wow. We both got good spots.
Good spots. Good spots.
Oh, man. That's awesome. Hey. How about that?
That is the way to go. That is the way to go. That is a nice.
Man, that's what we're out here for right there. Watching them come up like that.
Two big hits. Big hits.
So remember how we were talking about earlier, like the difference between spots and largemouth that you just see right there?
Yeah, the
Not gonna drop you.
the clipper in the jaw is almost in line with the eye.
And another really cool thing about him, feel the center of his tongue.
It's rough.
Yep, got a little
Yeah.
tooth patch.
Someone showed me that about the Coosa bass.
Cool. Awesome.
Here he comes. Here he comes. He's hooked up. Good Lord.
Big one? That's a big one.
He's
You look
doing
like
a
you
better
got, man.
job of pulling. How can you argue with doubles? Are we crossed? Yep.
Ooh. God, this is awesome.
Top water bite.
As
Crazy.
good as it gets. Middle of the day.
Crazy. Spots.
Beautiful fish.
They're beautiful.
We said let's do it again.
Yeah, let's do it
Let's do it a few more
a
times.
couple more times. I never get tired of top water. Ever. The spotted bass is a shorter, stockier, faster, kind of vicious type of predator here in this particular lake.
So when you're fishing for the spotted bass on Lanier, when they're on herring, they're chasing the fast moving baits, precision is everything. If you don't make the right cast at that right little moment, that right little window, you're not gonna get those strikes. Those fish, you know, they really, what I like to use the term, they like to patrol the area, the point. They're constantly looking for bait. So you've got to get in there at that right little moment, because you'll pull them to the boat. And then once that's happened, that whole spot is blown. You got to move on to another school and try to find another active school. Oh, holy shit, that was a big one, dude. You got him. That's a giant one. That's a giant one. I got it. Oh.
Yeah, I'm not even making ground on mine. I'm not even making ground on mine.
It's a giant. I hope you got the one that I saw.
Absolutely crushed it.
That one that you got, I saw, was huge, man.
Both are big.
Oh.
Oh, man.
As awesome as that was not the one that I saw from up top.
Yeah.
That one I saw from up top was twice the size of this one. Hey, that's still awesome, man.
Nice fish,
Hey, that was cool. Sitting up top, I saw one that, if that wasn't a 4.5, 5 pounder, I don't know what was. That thing was huge.
They're pretty fish. And I mean super, super aggressive. Super aggressive.
It goes from just nothing going on to they are coming full steam.
The top water just drives them nuts.
Look at us.
And they go.
Hey, awesome teamwork again.
That is, it's like both plugs have to hit the spot at the right time, and when you got them up, when you get them out of that deep water, you got to take advantage of it. There he goes. He's on it. He's on it. Get in there. Get in there, Rob.
Any size to him?
Yeah, you know, it feels about like some of this class we've been catching, honestly. Staying down a little bit better, though. Yeah. Oh, I know why now. Oh. Got him on the top. I got him.
Hey, it's a largemouth. You got number 2 on the slam.
Oh, I did. How about that? And the difference is the location of that clipper is back behind his eye.
Right. You know, you see his pattern on the side is not nearly as pronounced.
Distinct. It's not
Hey,
nearly.
that's a nice little bonus catch of the day. That's the hardest one
to catch.
Out here. We were just talking about that. They live out here. You just don't see too many of them out here offshore. You catch a good many of them in this lake up shallow, but nice healthy largemouth.
That's a good one. But yeah, they are not nearly as good looking.
Yeah, those spots, man, they're pretty.
By no surprise, it really was one of those days where we had double after double. Fish were striking topwater, and even when it started getting super bright and the topwater bite kind of subsided, then there was the drop shot bite that really turned on. So a lot of fun, and I learned a ton on this trip.
So a drop shot rig is where I've got my hook and my bait up over the bottom. I've got my weight, so it's kind of reverse as to a lot of rigs would be. So you got the weight down, 12 to 16 inches below the hook. Keeps the bait up off the bottom. It allows the fish to see it really well. And it just, it's a way to rig a soft plastic where you can get a lot of action, and it gets a ton of bites out here fishing in deep water. So the worm that we caught a lot of our fish on drop shotting is Z-Man's new long shots. And the long shots is something that I helped those guys design, and we tested and really built it off of what I saw with that worm out here on Lanier. You know, straight tail 6-inch worms in the spotted bass world for drop shot is everything. And that little worm right there is good on a drop shot. It's also good on a shaky head and wacky rigs. But it is a deadly, deadly approach to throw that drop shot down there. Once you've kind of casted a moving bait over top of them, maybe you've caught one, maybe you haven't. That drop shot, that long shots is the deal.
As Rob downloaded you on what we did with the drop shot rig after the topwater bite was over, let me show you a little bit of something what we were doing with the topwater plugs. When he told me that we were going to have to make some pretty long distance casts because we needed to stay off the brush piles far enough, so I chose this 7'2". This is a Zodius casting rod. This particular one is a medium heavy, which is kind of usual for topwater fishing, but it's got a fast tip. And that lets me really drive bigger plugs like the She-Dog and we also used a Top Dog and a Top Dog Junior in this episode. So it allows you to really load these rods up. If you fish a rod that's too light, you can't cast far enough. I've got a Corrado 150 HG here. It's a super good choice for what we were doing today. It's fast enough. I've got it packed with 20-pound Power Pro, another long distance idea or technique there when we're using braid. I don't like to use heavy braid for topwater fishing. And then the actual leader material is 40, that's right, 40-pound leader material. That gives me that stiffness that I want where this front hook won't reach over the leader material and foul you from time to time. You'll also notice that the gap of my front hook and my rear hook are different because I've squeezed this one down. By squeezing it down, it eliminates it going over the top of the bait, so I can't get hooked up on that leader. It's a little trick that I like to use a lot. Now, I used a high frequency rattle. He used the low frequency Top Dog. This is the She-Dog. But this simple setup right here will allow you your longest cast, I promise you, and a lot of success with topwater.
So Lake Lanier was a lake that at one point in time didn't even have any spotted bass in it. It was just a largemouth fishery. And over the years, stripers were introduced here in the, I'd say probably about the 80s, don't know the exact date. But the spotted bass were also put in here too. The Coosa River strain spotted bass, and over time have evolved into the primary bass species here on Lanier. There he is. Got him.
Here he is.
Either foul hooked or he's big.
I'm going for big.
He got some run to him. I think he's foul hooked. Feels weird, unless it's a stripper. It just feels like he's pulling sideways.
A nice spot.
It's a big one.
That is a big spot. Almost a nettable one.
Man, what a hard fight to
That is
fish.
a stud fish there.
Oh, he's hooked right on the side of the mouth. Beautiful fish.
Yes, he is.
Look at that thing. He's like a football. Sometimes they come up, sometimes you get them down on the bottom.
He is a football.
Whew. Not coming off.
Yeah, he was buttoned up good.
What a chunk.
That is a beautiful
Lake Lanier.
Lake Lanier. That's what you come here for.
Absolutely.
Fish
He's
of that
as clean as he
caliber.
can be. And other than right there where I caught him, that fish
that-
does not have a mark on him anywhere.
It's a 3-pounder now.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
yeah, solid 3 pounds.
So after fishing with CA a couple times down in salt water, we had some awesome times together. It was really, really cool to show him around kind of my home turf at a really, really good time of year. You know, topwater fishing is something that I kind of wait all year for. So it was really a pleasure to be able to fish with CA, you know, today and just really have him experience what this place is all about.
Can't thank Rob Jordan enough. And really, he went the extra mile for us on this. We coordinated this trip for quite some time, set us up in some great places, took us to Papa Jack's. We'll never forget Papa Jack's breakfast. That place was awesome. We went to all the little local places here, really gave us some great history and background. And our camera boat operator, well, let me tell you, this guy, he has an uncanny way about helping you during one of these trips. The guy's just an amazing guy. Troy Morrow, bass fishing extravagant, I mean, aficionado. He really helped us out a ton in this. Camera guys were catching fish by the end of the day. Just one of those amazing trips where everybody who was on the trip had a damn good time.